Yay! Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome. It is Tarot Tuesday, Tarot Reviews Day, and here I am back again with a new deck from my enormous collection. And as we know, as I stated last week, it is Kransmas in July. So I have the second of my 4 Kim Krans decks to show you all. This week we are doing the Animal Spirit Oracle. This deck is so awesome. And of course, I have a mini, and look, she's sparkly. This one's kind of sparkly too. So the packaging for her decks are usually really, really great, but also kind of gigantic. So this actually came with a book that is this big, and they come together in this absolutely ginormous box. And so when I first got these decks, I was like, I love these decks so much, but the packaging is out of control because I'm like living in like teeny tiny rented bedrooms. I was like in my sleeping on a mattress in Queens era when I bought these decks, and so I wasn't liking to have anything too big or too bulky. And so the boxes, I think, are like the rest of the packaging, I don't keep on the bookshelves. It takes up a lot of space. So if you have a lot of bookshelf space, awesome. If not, I just kind of took everything separately, and I have a separate place for books, a separate place for decks. Probably nobody cares, but if anybody's looking for a space saver, the whole package is not a space saver. It's more of like a keep the box and everything in the basement while everything else you can like put up on a shelf. But gorgeous in terms of like, look at that lovely like kind of rainbow shift that this one has, whereas this one is more like a textured rainbow kind of situation. But this is just, I love it so much. Oh man, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. I use this one a lot for, I use this one a lot actually. Frog. So I use this one a lot for mediumship actually. Whenever I do, like a mediumship reading where I'm contacting a person who's on the other side of the veil, that's when I break out this deck, and then I have another like a chakra deck. And it's really useful because when you're speaking to people on the other side, communication for me, especially because I'm not clairvoyant, I can't see anything. It's a lot easier to communicate through symbols. And animals are really great symbols. They're very universal, and they can say a lot because animals have personalities. Or like one time I did a mediumship reading and I pulled this dolphin card, and the last time this woman had seen her son, they went to see dolphins together. One time I was reading for a woman who lost her father, and I forget even what card I pulled, but she had a little stuffed animal that her father had given her as a child. That was that animal. So it could also be like a symbol like a butterfly in metamorphosis, or, oh, ever since my grandma died, I see butterflies all the time. So this is a great deck for mediumship. It's very, very helpful. And this one has a lot more color than the tarot deck that I showed you last week, which I really love. But again, her animals are beautiful. They're drawn so beautifully with her gorgeous tiny marks. Like, look at this. It's just like a bunch of beautifully placed lines and dots, right? Her dot work is out of sight. I love it when like this turtle has a bunch of great dots, right? She does great, great dot work. But I also really love, like on this dragonfly's wing, like all the little tiny lattices that she does. Just, oh, she's so good. She knows just where to place a little bit of white, like in this snake's eye. There's just a teeny white dot. She knows where to place just a little bit of white to create expression in the eye. Again, she knows where to put color in order to make some kind of emotional impact or meaningful impact. Yeah, just beautiful, like the face of this peacock. It's just expressive and gorgeous and regal and lovely. Yeah, so beautiful. This is organized into 4 suits. There's our dolphin. Look at that happy face. It's so cute. She has us organized according to elements. So we have our land animals or earth. We have like fire. So like the scorpion is a fire animal. We have our water animals and we have our air animals. So like things that fly, right? And then we also have, she does a 5th element. She does ether, which are our spirit animals. And so I think we saw that unicorn card come through, the cosmic egg. So a couple of egg cards are our spirit animals, hummingbirds. So like, for instance, my friend Ashley, when she died, I told a story about hummingbirds at her funeral. And so hummingbirds always say Ashley to me. And I have a little hummingbird tattoo right there for her too. Right. So, but it could also be like, people look at hummingbirds and their wings make like an infinity sign. But there's also the meaning. So Kim Krans's books are great. They're wonderful. They're very well thought out. They have not just like a little bit about like the animal and its personality, but it's also like, what is this animal archetype? Like, what do cultures believe about this animal? What kind of symbolism do we have around this? Are there any deities associated with this? Are there light attributes? Are there shadow attributes? Is there maybe a poem that you could read to understand this and integrate the information? Like, her books are really, really well thought out. So again, another reason why I love this author and her decks. Absolutely gorgeous. And I love this crow card. So let's go ahead and see if we can get a message. So remembering that I have the big and the little today, so we'll do one from each. So let's give her a little shuffle-roo and see, what does the collective need to know. Ooh, today we have a bear card, right? And let's see what we have for our little. So again, can you die with how tiny they are? They're so little and so cute. Oh my God. So, oh, there's that unicorn again. So let's give this guy a little shuffle-roo and see what we receive. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Ooh. Otter. Just fell right out. All right. So we have the bear and we have the otter. So a land animal and sort of like a water animal. So let's go to the book and see what we're getting here. This book, I will say for this deck, is a little frustrating because she doesn't actually tell you, like they're not numbered. There's no way to find it. You just have to look for the suit and flip until you find it. So I think that the books for the other decks that I have are a little better in that you can be like, this is the card, let me find it. Let me try to see, where is bear? So here I'm at earth. And there we go, bear. So bear says, waking from spiritual slumber, beginning anew, right? So coming out of hibernation. After a long winter, the bear arises from deep slumber. At the first moment in effort, it's difficult, but the bear knows it's time to awaken and move toward the dawning light. The bear card represents an individual on the cusp of new directions and personal transformation. The initial weeks and months of the spiritual quest may feel tricky, cumbersome, and full of obstacles, but you have no choice, bear. Winter wanes and the warmth of spring emerges and your transformation begins. So when the bear is in balance, earn inner strength, yearning to grow. When the bear is out of balance, withdrawal, lethargy, heaviness. And to bring the bear into balance, movement and exercise. I'm also hearing with this one, today is our new moon in Cancer, which has a lot to do with feelings and getting square with feelings and kind of taking some time to look within. So I think bear might have some medicine for us when it comes to that. Now here I'm at the water suit, and let me find our otter. Here we go. Unobstructed joy, playfulness, contentment. Perhaps the most joyful creature within the animal spirit deck. The otter represents absolute bliss. Otter energy is the playfulness of a child, available to us at any age. They have a giddiness and a reverence for life itself. Without the presence of doubt, worry, or skepticism, no self-doubt, no judgment of that joy. Oh my goodness, that's hitting. Imagine yourself with a little more otter energy. What would life look like? What would it take to bring you there? The otter card begs these questions and wants to transport us to that precious place as soon as possible. The celebration awaits. When in balance, full of love, needs nothing. Gloomy, sighs, and makes excuses when out of balance. And to bring into balance, dance party or celebration. I like the sound of that. So let's put these two together in a little story. So I think that we have something really interesting. And I like how they're both facing the same direction. You know, this is what I'm seeing. Like, you know, those Animorphs books that, you know, where they would have like the person they turn into their animal. I never actually read any of those, but the covers were very, they stuck with me because I find them a little unsettling and terrifying. But my son really loved Animorphs books when they were little. I remember seeing a couple of those. And I think my nephews were reading the Animorphs books. Anyway, this is reminding me of that. It's like we have a bear, and maybe its super form is the otter. Here's what I mean by that, right? So we have our sun. And remember, in tarot, sun is beautiful. Sun is a gorgeous outcome. But the bear is not really tuned into it yet, right? Bear has just woken up from hibernation and is sleepy and maybe a little grouchy. Sometimes when we wake up to something, that can be a little unsettling, and we start to see everywhere, oh my gosh. So let's say, for instance, like when I first woke up to ideas about the world, I was really angry and I was very upset and I was very grouchy, and everywhere I looked, it's like I'm seeing the problems, I'm seeing the problems, I'm seeing the problems, right? Or if for instance, last week I had to fast before a procedure. And it's like that fasting opened my eyes. It woke me up to certain things. And I was like, now I'm looking around and I'm like, I see the problems, I see the problems, I see the problems when it comes to how certain foods make me feel in my body, right? And so sometimes when we first wake up to an idea, we want to point out all of the problems of the old way. The old way and the symptoms of the old way, they really, really bother us, right? Stay with me here. That can really keep us from enjoying the awakening. That can really keep us from, it makes us feel like, man, why did I do that for so long? Or why did I participate in that for so long? Why did I treat my body like that for so long? Or accept my job treating me like this for so long? When instead, you're being encouraged to be more like otter and have some curiosity and have some playfulness about it, right? Because remember, this is a collective reading, right? So this is a general message. But what if, when we're in those times in our life where we're kind of just, we've just woken up, we're just out of hibernation, and we're this grouchy bear, and we're focused on the fact that, like, I'm still a little tired and the old way is still clinging a little bit. When you're fully awake, really awake, you're more playful, you're more joyful, like the otter, right? And the thing about the otter is no judgment. Not judging the playfulness, not judging the joy, not judging, because it's otter's nature. Otter's nature is being childlike, joyful, infectiously so, right? And getting this happiness out of what they see around them, out of the environment around them, and seeing it as an element of play as opposed to all of the problems or issues or residues, right, from the old way. So we have new moon in Cancer tonight, right? And Cancer is a water sign and is ruled by the moon. And so if lately, especially because this new moon in Cancer is also happening during a Mercury retrograde, if you have been waking up to feelings, if you have been in your feelings over the last week or so, right? What have you woken up to, right? What is Bear teaching you? What are you beginning to see? But instead of being grouchy about it, allow the new moon to wake you up and allow the new moon to offer you insight into your feelings around whatever it is you've recently woken up to. And then try and experience some kind of joy. Instead of focusing on the problems, focus on the opportunity of what's being offered to you. So if it's, oh my God, I've just woken up to these bad habits and I can't believe that I treated my body this way. Or I've just woken up to how I'm just accepting the exhaustion that I've been facing because of this job or this commitment. Or I've just woken up to people are treating me in a certain way and I can't believe that I allowed that to happen. Or I'm looking around at my environment and it's disorganized, right? And I can't believe I'm doing this to myself. Whatever it is that Mercury retrograde and Cancer new moon is waking you up to, because these feelings that you're having, your feelings are all parts of you, right? That are asking you for attention. They're asking you for healing. They're asking you for love. They're asking for some kind of light and understanding. They just want to be seen, right? And so if you're waking up as the angry bear and you're seeing the problems, right? It's time to fully awaken and say instead, there's some joy here. So instead of saying to yourself, I can't believe that I used to accept this old situation, this old way of being, you can say instead, this is my new way of being. This is how I want to be. And start living it, start embodying it, start taking joy in a very playful way, like the otter, without judgment, without bringing yourself down about it, without focusing on what's behind you. They're both facing this way. They're both saying what's ahead. So look at what's ahead of you instead. And just allow the old system to break down as you begin to take joy in the future that you want for yourself. Right? What if that's the message here, right? What if your little anamorph is you going from waking up as a sleepy, groggy, angry bear, and instead of being halfway in the old way of being and halfway in the new way of being, just fully be this new self. Fully be the person you want to be, the person who cares for their body or only accepts a clean environment or only accepts people to treat them the way that they deserve to be treated, or only accepts a work environment where they're feeling valued and feeling that their contribution is seen. Whatever it is that you now require, that you've now grown into, that you've now woken up to, just be that. And it doesn't have to be mean, snappy, groggy, angry bear. It can be playful, childlike, little otter who's just having fun with the experience of who they are now, right? That's the message. That's the message. Be who you are now. Let the old system fall away and stay focused on what you want your future to be. Stay focused on that, but not in a laser focus. This isn't like gazelle, right? We are just like an otter where we're just looking forward and we're playing and we're embodying and being that childlike spirit who's simply living through joy, this instinctual joy, right? Understanding that this is your inherent way of being, your childlike way of being, where you're just doing something through a sense of play and you're not judging it, right? That's awesome. That's where we all want to be. That's what we're all looking for. So just this effortless way of being, right? And so that has a lot to do with awakenings and accepting once we've woken up from, because we all have like our cocoon phase, right? Once we wake up from that, it's just time to be. It's time to embody. It's time to just slide on our little belly, right? And have a giddy time with this environment that the world around us is constructed for play and joy rather than being constructed for work and drudgery and awfulness, right? Our environment is constructed for us to explore and to play. And I love that message. I love that message. All right, I'm feeling complete. Thank you so, so much for watching, and for watching until the end if you have. If this reading has left any questions for you, or if you would like to try to, like one of my mediumship readings, or any of my other services, please send me a message here or on Instagram at the Lydian Lantern. You are so very loved by me. Have a wonderful, delicious, awesome, incredible week. Bye.